Right, hello and welcome to the third part in our Big Ben series. Today we're going to be working on the clock face. So last time we looked at assembling our pieces that we'd made, our stack of sections in the Big Ben Tower, and then at the end we scaled one of them up so it was a little bit bigger. It's important that we're working on that bigger piece today. So I'm going to jump in. If you look down your feature panel, you should see that you had a transform in there, and you should see I scaled it up by 1.05. You might have done 1.1. Just make sure you're working on that part that has been scaled. And the first thing you can do, if you've got a flat surface like we did in the last video, you're going to make a sketch on that just here, just these bands at the top, these stripes. If not, you might just need to make a new plane and just lever that off the surface a little bit. Now, it doesn't matter which face we start on. And I'm going to make a sketch here. So click sketch, and I'm going to click the corner rectangle, and then on the middle one of my crest, so right in the middle of this part, I'm going to go up, and you should see it snap to the middle point. And then I'm just going to drag my rectangle out. You might see it snap to the edge. If you do, you can snap it there. If not, it's not the end of the world. You can just eyeball it. Now, the way I've done it, I know that length is about 16 mil, 15.96. What I'm going to do is just make sure the height is there or thereabouts the same. And then I'm going to extrude that. So I'm going to extrude it into my shape. I'm going to click new, making sure it's new. That means it's not good. That means I can more easily pattern it around the other three faces when I'm done with it. I'm going to make sure, looking at the right plane, don't worry about that bit at the top. I'm just going to make sure that's somewhere inside the box. It's not sticking out the back. Then what I'm going to do is select second end position. I'm going to set that to 1 mil. So what we've got is we've got a 1 mil stick out here, and then we've also got it extending back into the clock face, so we've got no gaps here. Okay, so we're left with something like that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make I'm going to make another sketch on this fez. And again, I'm not going to touch this actual surface, but I want to be sketching on the plane that the surface lies on. So I'm going to click sketch. And I'm going to click corner rectangle this time. I'm going to select the corner of my square that I've just brought out. And I'm just going to set it. It should snap if I've drawn it on that plane. It should snap to the corner of this this arc, this sort of cylinder cutout. And here it's going to allow me to make an archway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a center line down the middle. From there, I'm going to make what's going to look like sort of a door frame. I'm going to draw out. I'm not going to bother too much if it's got uniform thickness. I'm going to click the fillet tool and just bring this. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to set that to point. I'm going to set the fillet to 0.6. And I'm also going to set this distance to 0.6. Ooh. Because what that should do is that should leave the very top of the arch right on the center line. That's what I want. And all you need to do to make sure that's the case, you need to make sure the radius of that fillet is the same as the distance between the center line and the side of this arch. All I'm going to do now is use this as my mirror line. I'm going to mirror the arc and this piece down. And what I'm going to do is just trim off all the bits on my center line. It might go red. As soon as you get rid of all of that center line, it should go green again, blue again. And all I'm going to do then is trim off the bottom of the archway. So what I should have now is, there we go, one closed shape that resembles a doorway. Okay, what I'm going to do now is do a linear pattern tool. So grab my linear pattern. I'm going to select all the sketch that I've just made, and I'm going to pattern it to the left. So I want each one of these to perfectly cover each of these archways. And that might not work if you've used slightly different dimensions than we have, but I know I use each one of those with 1.9 mil wide. However, saying that, I do remember we have scaled it up, so it might not work out. We might need to just eyeball it a little bit. And now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So where it says 3 times, I'm going to click 8. And you should see we get 8 there. What I want to do is, in fact, we might get away with this. I know each one of these was originally 1.9 mil apart. We multiplied it by 1.05. So if I use the asterisk and say 1.9 times 1.05, this should, I'm hoping, scale it perfectly. There we go. And all I need to do now is lots of people just click the tick. If you get this green button on the cursor, the mouse button, you just click away from everything and it confirms and places that sketch. And all that's left for me to do, it's not strictly speaking necessary, but it makes it a bit cleaner. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim all these vertical lines that segment the archways. And this means instead of lots of adjacent sketches, I've got one clean sketch that I can just extrude. And hopefully I'm going to extrude it by 1 mil this way. If I click we might just need to go back and doctor this. So look, we kept that sketch. Yeah, we kept the sketch. All I'm going to do is go back to my original extrude here. And it went to add. I want to make sure that says new. And you should see it comes up as a different color. Right, sorry about that. Yeah, here we go. Right, so that should come up as a dark bluish, or it doesn't mind anyway. Now what you're going to do is you're going to click on the sketch that you've just made. You're going to click extrude by 1 mil, and it should snap to that same color. And you're going to click second end position again. And again, you're just going to draw it backwards. So it's just sitting somewhere in the middle of there. Click the tick. And what you might see happen is that this is again a different shade, or it's gone to a different color. All I'm going to do now is click my Boolean tool, this Venn diagram like symbol. And all that's going to do is if I click on 1, 2 parts, it's going to make them into the same part. And we're going to do this to the whole thing once we've got linear patterned it all around the edges, but it's easier to linear pattern tool it, circular pattern tool it, sorry, if it's a different part. In fact, tell you what, I'm not quite going to do that yet, because what I'm going to do, it's actually convenient for it to be a different part. I'm going to pattern tool this, so linear pattern tool this upwards, because I want another one of these that just sits on top of the clock, so it just cushions it between these two parts. So what I'm going to do is linear pattern tool, pattern, part 5, which is the part that I've already clicked. Direction, if you just click on a vertical line, it should want to pattern it up automatically. I hope. There we go. It's patterned it down. I don't want to pattern it down. Just click the opposite direction arrows and it should swing that above it. And this might again be a bit of eyeballing because it's not a sketch. I don't have that arrow. So it says 20 at the minute, 25 at the minute. I'm going to try 20, 17. Oh no, don't do instant count. You want instant count to be 2. Distance, try 17. 18 and a half. 18.7. Right, perfect. I'm going to click my tick now. And what I should be able to do now is click my Boolean tool, click 1, 2, 3 parts, and it's still not liking that for some reason. What happens? Right, so it likes it if we do one at once. So I'm going to click my clock face and my lower arches, and that should transform that into one piece. I'm going to click my Boolean and then click below, and that should merge the rest of them. Right, okay, so now we've got something that resembles our um, facade for our clock tower. All I'm going to do now is grab my center point rectangle again. In fact, I might need to just draw a center line to grab that center point. There we go. I'm going to just snap it to the middle. So you just want to find the center of this square region. So I've drawn a center line. If I move across now, it should snap it to the middle. And I'm going to draw another rectangle from the center. Get rid of my center line. And this should be just a little bit less than that 16. So it should be about 15.5 probably. 14. Change that to 15. Change this to 15. It's not going to like that because it's snapped. In fact, if we change this to 13, yeah, that's all right. And then I'm just going to engrave or remove this by a tiny bit. So I'm just going to remove this by 0.5 mil. And now I'm about ready to draw my clock. How? We've done a lot of playing about with that today. We're going to leave it there. The trouble I have with this section is there's a lot of faffing about and there's a lot of different ways to do it. If you found a more elegant way to do this, please let me know. I'm sure there is. But in the next video, we're going to focus on the clock face. I might even spend some time trying to actually fix this and make it 15 by 15 for the next video. But then we're going to hopefully finish the face, replicate it, and we should see that this is really coming together. When we jump into the assembly, it won't be there yet because it's a separate part, but once we put the Boolean tool in it and we turn it all into one part, you should see it really resembling something like Big Ben. By all means as well, put any extra details you want on, you're more than welcome to do that. The more the merrier, and even if the details aren't great or you're having trouble with them, if you've got loads of stuff on there, it's going to look awesome. So if you've got any questions, I know it's been a bit messy today, just drop a comment. If you like the video, please drop a like. And if you like the series, you can subscribe. But other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.